KDE is an international free software community producing an integrated set of cross-platform applications designed to run on Linux, FreeBSD, Solaris, Microsoft Windows, and OS X systems. KDE, in collaboration with Department of Computer Science, Amrita School of Engineering, is proud to host conf.kde.in, a platform for Qt KDE contributors, developers, and enthusiasts to come together, share their knowledge, contribute, learn, and play. I now welcome Dr. Sajeev GP, Professor, CSE Department, to shed some more light on conf.kde.in and address the gathering with the welcoming speech.
Namshivaya. Good morning all. So today we are hosting national level conference KDE India, hosted by Force Club and Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Now, before going to the welcoming all, I think a bit of introduction is required regarding KDE and what the conference is. Now, when you take a typical GNU Linux environment, there are different kind of desktops. One is Genome is one popular, and LXD, then OpenBox, variety of. In that, one of the desktop environment is known as KDE or K desktop environment. And again, the K desktop environment not alone the desktop actually. It is bunch of or collection of softwares, applications, tools, interfaces in various domains, like in education, in multimedia. So that and so some of the KDE applications or KDE tools we introduce here, and again it is not possible to teach the entire KDE. This is an introduction to some of the application known as some of the applications. Krita is one application we introduce here. Marble is another application we introduce here. Other than that, we have Qt tutorial programs, which is about Qt programming in typical C++ environment. So this KDE conference, last time it was conducted in Dhirubhai Ambani College at Gujarat. So this time it is in Amrita. So I basically go to my part, that is welcoming the chief guest and welcoming the participants. So here we have with us Associate Dean Dr. Balashankar. Welcome you, sir. Then so Balashankar sir was always inspirational in force activities. Always he says, go like attitude, go and learn kind of attitude. So thank you for coming here, sir. Then our principal, Dr. K. Shankaran, he is also inspirational and a very, very motivational personality. Welcome you, sir. Brahmachari Bijuji is here. He is the person who is behind the Force Club here. Then we have with us two distinguished personalities of KDE. Naufal Ibrahim, he is a founder of PyCon. Welcome, you. Also, we have with us Pradipto Bhattacharya, KDE, founder KDE India. Actually, I met Pradipto Bhattacharya 10 years back at NIT Calicut. At that time, he was in the development of Amarok, I believe. So 10 years passed, he became the founder or the chief of KDE in India. We are very proud of being here. Also, our campus director, Sudeep ji, I welcome Sudeep ji in his absence. Also, I welcome all the delegates and participants for this KDE conference. There are participants from Amrita College or Amrita family, and participants from the other colleges too. So I welcome all the participants and delegates to this conference. Also, we have with us a battery of resource people here. Not one or two, it is difficult to name. Actually, I was learning the name of one by one from the KDE website. Battery of bunch of resource persons are here. I'll just name one or two. The person who take Krita is Somasudra Bari, and we have got Pinag Ahuja, and we have got Shantanu Tushar, and also we have got Sanijban Bairagya, then Sini Kumari, then Jigar, then Devja Shah, then Rishabh Arora, then Ashish Maderi, then Karan Luthara. See, it is difficult, and again it is only few of them. Many are here. So welcome you, sir, all of you. Welcome to Amrita and welcome to KDE conference. And also I welcome the faculty members over here, faculty members of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and the other faculty members. Also I welcome all the staff of Amrita who gathered here. Also I welcome all the student friends. Also I welcome all at last. So thank you be here for this program. I wish a wonderful 2 days event which will enhance your knowledge, and you will get a good exposure to KDE and the open source as well. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
Balakrishnan Shankar, Associate Dean, Amrita School of Engineering, to share his views on KDE Conf with the audience.
I congratulate the Computer Science Department and FOSS Club for having set up this wonderful conference. And I don't want to say much else except to note that especially in computer science, we have perhaps we are some of the most dynamic and innovative campuses in the country. Given the fact that our students are going into ICPC World Finals, and it started 7 years ago with Amrita being the Sun Solaris champion to fix the maximum number of bugs in Solaris. And ever since then, FOSS Club started, and several achievements have been here in the Computer Science Department, and the latest being going into the World Finals of the ACM ICPC. I don't have to tell you the importance of KDE or open source all over the world. It's the in thing today, and it's wonderful that you have come here for this conference. I welcome you all. Have great fun. Keep asking questions to the experts, and I'm sure it will be a wonderful learning experience for all of you. Especially the students from outside Amrita, welcome you to our beautiful campus, and feel free to roam around and check it out, and cross the backwaters and go to the ashram. Be careful when you go near the beach though. And so it's a wonderful place. Welcome you all. Have fun. And once again, congratulate FOSS Club and the Computer Science Department to set this up. Best of luck.
Om Namah Shivaya. Yes, Bala said it's a great privilege for Amrita to be hosting this very beautiful conference. This is the fourth conference, if I'm right. We started, the KDE conference started way back in 2011 and continued in 13, 14, and this is the fourth conference. The last two conferences happened in Gujarat, Dhirubhai Ambani, one of the leading colleges in India. So I think the fact that KDE organizers selected Amrita to host this event definitely points to the importance Amrita is gaining in the open source contribution area. And I guess the most remarkable thing probably for the benefit of our students, is that the speakers, in fact, you will be surprised that most of the speakers are students themselves, like each one of you here. Okay, so I guess what is really important to the takeaway is, even while you are students in the college, you can gain mastery over certain areas of technology, and then you are a well sought after resource, not only for your campus but also for other institutions. So I guess the real takeaway from this program would be to really gain the confidence that I too can master some areas, whatever you choose. So for say, open source is almost like an endless ocean. So I hope you all get introduced to the possibilities of open source, and choose for yourself what is the area you want to specialize, you want to focus on, and hopefully become a very useful resource for your community, for the nation, and for the world at large. So I guess in a way this is very different, very special from other conferences we have had in our campus all these years. So I guess I'm really proud of each one of you who have come here and sharing your knowledge, your experience in contributing, so that our students can equally benefit from that. Okay, wish this conference great, and congratulating the computer science department and other organizers to make this all possible for this campus. Wish you all the best. Om Amriteshwari Namaha.
Hello everybody. What can I say? First of all, thank you all for coming here. It's an honor to be here. I can tell you that I used to live in New Bombay, where there is a small town called Nerul, and there is a Amrita ashram there. I have never been. I would never had the privilege to go here because maybe someone wanted me to come right to the headquarters. So thank you all for letting us doing the KDE conference. As Sir just told us that this is our 4th conference. So it has been happening in various colleges, once in Bangalore, twice in Gujarat, and now here. So what can I say? I got a nice tour of the college yesterday. I think this is the only college I have seen where there is a beach and a national waterway between the college and the hostel and everything. So yeah, I wish I studied here long back, 2 decades ago or something like that. I can tell you that I welcome you all, the students of this college, the students who are from other colleges. A little later, there is a lot to learn in KDE, and many of you, KDE will probably be something very new. I and Shantanu will introduce you to the few of the things, but more our job would be basically to tell you what other speakers will be talking about during the whole conference, so that you guys can take the best out of it. As I said, there's a lot to it. You guys will hopefully figure out what you want from it and start contributing to KDE and open source in general from there. Having said that, I thank everybody here, the college. I thank Naufal as well for lending his time here to attend the conference and give a keynote here. And thank you all for coming here and spending time with us for today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that refreshing speech. Those are indeed words to ponder upon. Before we move on to our keynote address, I call upon Harish Navneet to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning. Let me quickly conclude the inauguration ceremony of the Conf KDE. It's been a nice experience for all of us. I would like to thank the Department of CSE first and foremost. But let me start with the people on the dais here. Dr. Shankaran, Principal of School of Engineering, Dr. Bala Sir, Associate Dean of Amrita School of Engineering, Brahmachari Bijuji, Head of CAR, and Dr. Sajeev, our Chief in charge of the event, and our FOR selective Sir as well. And I'd also let me also thank Pradipto, Mr. Pradipto Bhattacharya, the founder of KDE India, and similarly Mr. Naufal Ibrahim, the founder of PyCon India. And thanks for the keynote as well. You'll see it later. In addition to this, I'll also like to thank Mr. Binu PK. He's been our coordinator in charge, and he's helped us with a lot of permissions and other things. And last but not least, like I said, I'd like to thank the CSE Department, A special mention to our chairperson, Dr. M.R. Kaimal, for giving us the permission to organize the event in this campus, and our vice chairperson, Ms. Jyothisha ma'am, and of course my batchmates, S6 CSE, S2 and S4 BCA, and S2 CSE as well. I thank you a lot, and last but not least, the FOSS Club at Amritapuri. Special thanks to Mr. Vipin Pavitran, our mentor to all of us, and finally for the wonderful opportunity to be here, ICTS and GAD as well. Thanks a lot.
Among some of the premier conferences in the country is PyCon, which attracts some of the best developers and Python programmers across the world and the country. We now have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Naufal Ibrahim, the founder of PyCon India and a member of the Python Software Foundation, to address the gathering with the keynote speech.
So I'd like to start by thanking you all, because this is the first time I'm giving a keynote speech. I don't do speeches. I don't do keynotes. I mostly do workshops. So this is like a first time for me. So this is going to be like, it's going to try to jump from a workshop into a keynote. I hope it doesn't fall halfway in between and not end up anywhere. But let's see if you benefit from it. So it's a really nice event. I came yesterday night. The hospitality was very nice. I mean, I got really nice dinner, nice place to sleep, nice breakfast. The college is very nice. It's generally, thing. The other thing is, I want to thank the KDE people for doing this in Kerala, because I moved back from Bangalore about 3 years ago, and I wanted to actually generate this kind of a community thing in Kerala. But although there are people here, there's lack of infrastructure. There's no conferences, there are no events, there are no leaders, and sort of, for some definition of the word. Because of that, the students are just they float out to other places and they get active, but outside Kerala. So it's nice to have things happening here. All right. And finally, thank you for inviting me to present. So I just hope I don't. Pradeepto called me like a few weeks ago saying, "Can you present?" And I said yes. I hope I don't embarrass him today. Let's see. Okay, so I have some confessions. These things are things which I have to say up front. This being a KDE conference, first of all, I'm not a KDE user. Right? I think I must have used KDE for 15 minutes in the past 15 years. I tried it out back in 99 or so. And at the time, like if you were a Linux person, you were supposed to hate Windows. And KDE looked sort of like Windows. So we just decided that therefore it's bad and we didn't use it. So I'm not a KDE user. Over time, I used GNOME for a while, but then I'm not a GNOME user anymore because I installed, I think, one version of Ubuntu with some modern version of GNOME, and it destroyed my home directory completely. So I lost 1 year of work, emails, and everything. So I stopped using GNOME, stopped using Ubuntu. But I use a few graphical applications. I use a browser. I use a few things like that. But I'm mostly a command line person. All right. And this talk is going to be specifically about the command line. All right. And about why you should learn to use it as well. There's always, this is an engineering point in the sense it's one thing to be, like when you're a professional, you shouldn't be a fanboy. You shouldn't say like KDE or GNOME or command line for that matter is a solution to all problems. You should have that critical ability to decide which is the right tool for what job. All right. And the command line is underappreciated these days. So I want to actually give you some taste of this. So there's a bunch of things. One, the keynote is not supposed to be technical, okay? But this keynote is going to be technical. The keynote is not supposed, you're not supposed to live code during any speech, especially a keynote, but I'm going to live code. Okay, the keynote is supposed to be about the conference, but this is not going to be about KDE. So I'm just hoping that if I break a sufficient number of rules, the keynote will be good. All right. So let's start. So, the first thing I want to just mention that this is sort of a summary of the Unix philosophy, which is like a one-sentence description of what we are going to talk about today. The idea is like most GUI applications in KDE or GNOME or whatever, they're monolithic. They're one big application that tries to perform one large set of tasks. So if you have like an Office suite, it does a large number of things. It has a spell checker, it has a grammar checker, it has formatters, it has I don't know, so many other things. So most GUI tools are like this, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that that's the paradigm over there. The Unix philosophy is the other way around. Instead of giving you these large things, you get these small programs that in themselves look really trivial. It'll be like embarrassingly small, trivial programs. But the idea is that if those programs are well designed, well selected, and very performant, you can build really interesting things out of them. That's the point, and I'm going to try to demo that today. So this is the philosophy. Write programs that do one thing and do it well. You don't do programs that do multiple things at the same time. You just do one thing at a time. Write programs that work together. These programs are useless by themselves, but you should be able to fit them together. All right? And write programs to handle text streams, because that's a universal interface. Different formats have come up and gone, but text has been there since, I don't know, 1950s maybe. Text files which were written on 1950s computers can still be read today, but some proprietary formats cannot. So text streams, they encourage use of text streams, which is, makes sense. So the idea is this, that Unix, it gives you building blocks rather than products, right? Like if you're buying a toy for a kid, you can buy him or her like, a car or something, and they can only play with the car. But if you buy them blocks, they can build whatever they want. They can build a car, they can build a spaceship, they can build a house, they can build anything they want. So they give you these kinds of things, and you just add imagination, all right? Depending on how imaginative you are, you can build new interesting things. So you have these small, well-debugged, powerful blocks, and which communicate via text streams, and you can build them into this. So these are some basic concepts. The first thing, programs produce and consume textual output. So these tiny programs, they produce text. You type some command and hit enter. For example, if I type ls here and hit enter, I'll see one file. It just prints something. So it prints text. Programs print text by default. And programs consume text. The input to programs is also text. Okay, I'll give you a few examples and then we'll start. So here's one program, ls. Everyone have some basic idea? Everyone has basic Linux exposure? Yes, no? I don't know what you're saying. Okay, good. Okay, so you know what ls is, right? ls basically, if you type ls and hit enter, it'll show you the list of files in the current directory. Simple enough. There's a command called cat. You know what this does? For all of you who are like, neck deep into the internet culture, this is cats before the internet. Okay, this is cat, which is short for concatenate. If you type cat poem.txt, there's a file over there called poem.txt. It'll actually print the contents of that file. Okay, so this, just as a side note, this is a poem which is written by this geometer, I think he's Dutch, called Piet Hein. This kind of poem is called a groek. And it's quite nice. I really like it. The secret of wisdom, it's plain, you see. It's easy to express. To err and err and err again, but less and less and less. So you keep making mistakes, but you make less and less mistakes. That's how you become wise. Okay, so I'm going to use this poem in a lot of examples. So we have two commands now, ls and cat. Okay. Next thing, we have a thing called wc. Wc is short for word count. If I say wc poem.txt, it will tell me how many lines. The 6 is number of lines, the 25 is number of words, and the 120 is number of characters. All right, so word count counts lines, words, characters, etc. So like I told you, these programs in themselves, they seem really small, but I'll show you how to combine them into something interesting shortly. Next thing, we have something called grep. Anyone know what grep is? Well, I'm giving myself away. It's written on the top of the slide. So grep is actually used to search for strings in a file. Okay, not just strings, regular expressions, but we'll just say strings for now. If I say grep express poem, it'll show me all the lines in that poem which contain that word express. So if I type this, it shows me only this line. It's easy to express. Okay, so you can search for things. It's basically your editor search functionality. You have sort. Can you guess what sort does? I should have removed these titles. I should have asked you to guess. Sort, it sorts lines in a file. Okay, so if you give a file to sort, it'll actually print you sorted lines. So here, but less and less and less, it's easy to express. It's plain, you see, the secret of wisdom. Well, it doesn't rhyme anymore, but yeah. So if it'll sort the lines in alphabetical order. So see, it starts with B, then I, then T, small t, etc. We also have unique. unique is something which, can you see it? Okay. I have a file there called fruits.txt, which contains apples, apples, bananas, oranges, grapes, grapes, grapes. If I type unique with -c on that file, it'll actually show me the unique like it'll show me there's 2 lines which have apple, 1 line which has bananas, 1 line which has oranges, and 3 lines that have grapes. So it shows me, like, it gives me a count for each line, which is nice. File, there's 2 other commands. One is head. Head will show you the first n number of lines. So if I say head -2 poem.txt, it'll show me the first 2 lines of poem.txt. If I say tail -2 poem.txt, it'll show me the last 2 lines of poem.txt. So you can see the first 2, last 2, first n, last n, etc. Another command which is useful is called awk. Anyone heard of awk? So awk actually is unimaginatively named after the names of the people who made the program. A stands for Aho, W stands for Weinberger, and K stands for Kernighan, which are the 3 people who made the program. So it's not a very imaginative name, but it's a useful program. Basically, it allows you to manipulate the file column in a column basis. So if I say awk print $1 poem.txt, it'll show me only the first column of every line. So the secret of wisdom, it's plain you see, it's easy to express, to and again, but less and less and less. So only the first words of each line. There's also a command called paste, which allows you to paste lines, on a column basis. So if I paste poem and fruits, see, it'll show me the first line of poem and the first line of fruits, second line of poem, second line of fruits. So it pastes it sideways, side by side. Does that make sense? Yeah? So just I know it sounds a little boring, especially in the morning, but just hang on. I'll try to make it more interesting very shortly. Okay. Finally, so we have all these commands which we have covered. We have paste, cat, unique, sort, etc. The magic character in the whole of Unix is this pipe thing. All right. The idea is that you take the output of one command and you give it as the input to the other command. All right. So here's one example. If I say awk print $2 poem.txt, what will it print? It will print the second column of every line. All right. So if I were to do this, let's just say poem.txt. These are the things. So the second thing is secret, plain, easy, and less. All right. And I say pipe that through sort. So sort that instead of just sorting a file. So it actually sorts those things, easy, less, plain, and secret. That makes sense? So instead of actually sorting directly, you can generate the input for this program from another program. All right, that's how you actually combine multiple things together. All right, does this make sense? Yeah? Okay, finally there's one more little program I'd like to mention before I actually start. There's a thing called TR. TR is actually used to translate character sets. So this basically takes the poem.txt and it pipes it into TR, gives it into TR. The space gets replaced by the space gets replaced by underscore, and the E gets replaced by dot over here. So you can see what has happened to the poem, right? All the E's have become underscores. All the E's have become dots and all the spaces have become underscores. All right, so you can translate character sets. All right. Now, we have some building blocks. We have a few blocks. I think we've covered, 7 commands, 8 commands maybe. Now let's do something interesting. Any Sherlock Holmes fans here? Okay, so if you read Sherlock Holmes, there's a novel called The Valley of Fear. Have you read it? So the 4 Sherlock Holmes novels, right, for all you Sherlock Holmes buffs. In fact, I mean, just since we are Sherlock Holmes fans, I'll just tell you that I'm a member of the Sherlock Holmes Society of India. I actually have a Sherlock Holmes Society of India mousepad. So that's my claim to fame. So there's a story called The Valley of Fear in which Sherlock Holmes, he actually deduces the name of a book from a cipher which was sent to him. So we're going to do something similar. I have a file over here called mobydick.txt. It's a big file. If I just do an ls, you can see how big it is. It's 1.2 MB of text. Okay, it's a pretty big file. I have a file called mobydick.txt. I know that it's the text of a book. All right, I got it from the net. I downloaded it. It's a text of a book. It's copyright expired. It's an old book. I'm It's not pirated, just in case you're wondering. Okay. I want to find out as much as I can about this book without actually reading it. Okay, this is, I don't know, are there any BA literature people here? This is something which might be useful to them, you know, programs to generate summaries of things which you have to read. So I'm going to actually generate a summary of this book without actually reading it, using just these few tools which we've talked about till now. What this cat, sort, unique, awk, tr, etc. All right, if you want to try this out yourself, you can take the book itself. It's available on Gutenberg, so you can download it from there. You have to clean it up a little bit. It has, like, you know, copyright messages and all that. You can clean up all that, but after that you can get it. So let's do it live. What's the first thing we can do? What's the first thing I can find out about this? All right, let's see. I'm going to search for number of chapters. How many chapters does this book have? How do I know? Any guesses? So I'm going to search. I said grep. Grep will actually search for a thing. I can say IW. I is for case insensitive. So it'll match chapter, it'll match chapter, it'll match chapter, it'll match all of these things. So, and I say W so that it'll match only chapter. It won't match chapters or, you know, things like that. So I say grep IW chapter in mobydick.txt. I don't want to see all this. I just want to see how many of them are there. How do I do that? I have a program that can count. What is it? Yeah, WC. So I say WC and I say minus L, which is like number of lines. All right. So it tells me there are 172 chapters. Okay, that's kind of high. So let's just put 172 chapters. So Moby Dick analysis. Let's just put it over here. 172 chapters. Okay, so that's one bit of information. I know that the book has, it might be wrong, all right, but I don't want it to be like, I don't know, it's like, suppose this book is about the chapters of some ancient, order of knights or something, then it'll be wrong, but it's okay. I mean, this is Chalta, it's okay. We just want approximate. What else can we find out? Is there anything else we can find out? Yeah, so fine, that's a good one. So number of pages. How do you find out the number of pages? It's just a raw text file. It's 1.2 MB text file. How do I find out number of pages? Yeah, so the thing is, there's this thing about Sherlock Holmes, I forget in which one of his books, he mentioned that you need observation, you need deduction, and you need knowledge. All right. You need to have these numbers. So if I were to give you a book that's, say, half an A4 size sheet, how many pages, how many words do you think would fit on one page? Roughly. No, definitely more than that. Yeah, I think so. So I've actually counted, me being the nerd that I am. It's around 35 lines per page and around 10 words per line. And so it's around 350 words. Okay. So if I were to take this, how do I find the number of words in this? I can use WC again. WC minus W, mobydick.txt. There's so many of these things. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to say BC, this thing divided by 350, which is 595. So that's fine. 595 words. 595 pages. So 595 pages divided by how many? 172 chapters. That's around 3 pages a chapter. Okay, which means that it's a big book, but it's readable. You don't want to have books that have 50, 100, 200 page chapters, right, which will be hard to read. You can't really pause in between. So 595 pages. It's a big book. So we know that much. What else can we find out? Huh? Well, it depends. I mean, it's not necessarily, because they might be broken across lines. You don't know if they're written together, or maybe they don't. Maybe there are no chapter names. It might be just chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So I'm looking for more semantic information, basically. Okay, so I'll give it to you. Sentence lengths. So have you seen in books, you must have seen these things where they say suitable for children of 3 years, suitable of children for 5 years, suitable for young adults, that kind of thing. This actually measured using sentence lengths and some things like that. If I wanted to find out the lengths of sentences, how do you think I'd find it out? What is a sentence? So I'll just, for definition, it's just words terminated by a full stop. Okay, so sentence lengths. What I'm going to do is, first thing, I'm going to cat mobydick.txt. I'm going to translate every new line into a space, what will happen then? Yeah, so the whole book will be on one line now. If I count how many lines this has, it'll just tell me that there are 0 lines because the whole book is on one line now. Okay, but I do this, and then after that I translate once again. I translate full stops into new lines. What happens now? So it's one sentence per line. Okay, now awk can actually count the number of fields in a sentence. So if I say print NF, it's going to print the number of words in each line, which is the length of each sentence. So if you just want to see it, I can just give you a head to give you a first few. Sorry, awk print. Let me just see. Awk head. So this tells me, like, the first sentence is two words long, second sentence is 1 word long, third sentence is 3 words long, etc. You can actually print the sentence here also if you just want to see what it's like here. So see, the first thing is 2 words, chapter 1, loomings, call me Ishmael. Then he has a 38 word sentence. Then he has an 86 word sentence. Okay, so typically when we speak, our sentences have around 18 to 20 words, but he has an 86 word sentence. So I have this, I have the number, I have the length of each sentence. What do I do with this now? I have the length of each sentence. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort it, okay, and then I'm going to unique that, and then I'm going to take the tail of that. Or rather, I'm going to sort it numerically again by counts. So if I do this and I take tail of this, it tells me there are 230 sentences of length 2, 197 sentences of length 16, 194 sentences of length 9, etc. Okay, I'll say tail minus 20 to get some more. So you can see that maybe even 30 is fine. 30 is good. So you can see that there's 153 sentences of length 27, 158 sentences of length 24, etc., etc., etc. This goes on like this. So the bulk of this thing lies between 15 and 25, aroundish over there. You can actually plot this as a graph and all that. But basically, this is the thing. So you can say that the average sentence length is, or like let's just say median sentence length is around 20. Because between 17 and 27, that kind of thing. So if that's the size, what does that mean? It's definitely not a book for children. Right? Children's books don't have 20 word sentences. You have some sentences that are even bigger. So if I were to just take this thing and give you this just sort this. Sorry, without sort. You have one sentence which has 394 words. Okay, we said 350 words per page, but we have a 394 word sentence. Okay, so it's definitely not a technical book. Technical books don't have 394 words per sentence. So it's not for children and not technical, which is okay. So that's one more bit of information that we have. What else can we find? So another thing we can find is the year of writing, roughly. Suppose he mentions years a lot in this thing. You can actually look for years and try to estimate where it's found. So for that, we'll take the same thing. We'll take one word per line and we'll grep for years. What's a year? Well, the first thing can be 1 or 2, and then 0 to 9, 0 to 9, 0 to 9. Right? And we sort this numerically. Oops, sorry. No, not this. So we don't need it like this. We need to separate every space into a new line so that we get 1 word per line. So here it'll be 1 word per line, and here I actually grep for this 1 or 2, 0 to 9, 9, and 0 to 9. Okay, and I sort this numerically. What do I find? So here, just take a look. So you can see it starts at 1492, but then it goes up, like, it's then from 1750, 1775, 1775, 1776, 78, 79, 88, 91, 93, etc. So it's between 1750 and 1850. All right, most of the things. So you can say like, talking about around say 1800s. Okay, so it's set approximately in that time. So guess, all right. So year of writing. Next thing, statistically significant words. You can actually look at this thing and say which word is most used in this book. All right. I'll give you a prize if you tell me what that is upfront. What's the most common word in this book? Yeah, so yeah, the. So anyway, so if I do this, I take one word per line, and then I sort it, I unique it, I sort again by count, and I look at the last things. You can see that there's 13,411 the's. So this means that the book is about the. Okay, that's not very useful. Okay. And also, like, if I say tail minus 20, like a couple of things more, like just a few more words. This, at, all, for, he, it, as, all this stuff is, articles and things like that, which don't really work. So what do we need? You need longer words, right? Some things which have some size. So when you get words, we'll just grep for words that have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. At least 5 characters. And then we'll do this whole sort. This is on them. What do we get? Yeah, now we have something. So there's a whale. 370 times we mentioned whale. Okay, so I can say something. So is it topical words? I can say that we have some things about whale. Then we have nothing else over here that's significant. So we can increase the size a little bit. See what we get. Seem, though, before, thorough. This captain. Okay, so captain means what? It's either about the military or it's about the sea. But then when you say whale, it's probably about the sea. So we have captain, so sea. So there's something related to the ship. Whales again. There's a thing here called queequeg. What do you think this means? There's something special about that word. What is it? It starts with a capital letter. What does that mean? It's a proper noun, right? So it's probably something that is something important in the book, some guy's name. So we look for that actually. Let's look for this. We just look for all things that start with capital letters. 1, 2, 3, 4 at least. And then we'll say plus 20. So let's look. There's captain, which starts with this sperm, whale, queequeg. Queequeg is there. So queequeg is a character. Let's just say characters. There's queequeg. What else is there? There's Ahab. Where is it? Ahab. Stub. White is nothing. White may be a name. So we'll just put white. Stub there. Pequod. That's another one. Queequeg, Ahab. Starbuck. That's another one. Pequod, right? Jonah. That's another one. Indian. I don't know if Indian's a name, but yeah. So this is fine. So we have a bunch of names also. All right. You can actually look for things which are like bigger words, so that we can just search for things which are bigger. Captain, chapter, thorough, without queequeg, towards, certain. Whaling. So there's another thing. Whale, whaling, whales. So we can put whaling over here. And what else can we do? We can keep increasing this to find out if there's more and more. So queequeg, sometimes standing, Starbuck, peculiar, thousands, business, harpooner. What does that mean? So it's a whaling ship, obviously, in the 1800s. All right, harpooning, whalemen. Yeah, so that's about whaling again. So, and let's just look for these kind of words that start with this and which have at least these many characters. If anything else. So there's queequeg, Starbuck, Nantucket. Nantucket is actually a whaling colony in the 1800s in New England. So you can set that. So Greenland, yeah, it's another one. So it's probably a ship, a voyage. American, oh, there you go. It's based over there. Queequeg, Nantucket, Tashtigo, that's another word. Leviathan. Leviathan is biblical speak for whale, which is, yeah, I guess you can put it here if you want. But it's basically the whale again. Besides, nevertheless, steel kilt. I don't know what that is. Perhaps something here. Steel kilt, Fedala, which is only 17 times. Really, these things are, it's there in this list, but only these many times. We could put it as a name, though. Fedala is probably somebody important. Fine. So we have like a bunch of topical words. So it's a book about whales, the sea, and these are the main characters in it, etc. So what else can we find? So I've already done this proper nouns thing, which we look for the capital letters. What else can we find? This is all. Think of it as a sponge, like you're trying to squeeze as much as you can out of it. What else can you find? Huh? Yeah, but verbs, without sufficient nouns, the verbs don't really contribute anything to the thing. The other thing which is usually done when you do this kind of analysis is to find bigrams and trigrams. Bigrams are things like his name, like pairs of words that occur together. This is kind of interesting. So suppose we do this, you get a list of all the words like this. I'm going to put this into a file called T1. All right. This greater than, what it does is instead of putting it onto the screen, it puts it into a file called T1. I'm going to say tail minus n plus 2, which will actually give you the last things, all the lines starting from the second line. So it sort of moves the whole thing one step downwards. And I'm going to put this into T2. So if I say head of T1, you'll see that it's this. If I say head of T2, it's this. This first thing is skipped and all the others come after that. So it's sort of shifted by one position up. If I paste these two together, T1, T2, and I do this, you can see this. Chapter 1, loomings, call me Ishmael some years, etc. I'm going to take this and I'm going to do all the stuff which we have done. I'm going to sort it, I'm going to unique it, I'm going to sort it numerically, and I'm going to print the last 20 of them. All the stuff which we've done. So what do we find? Of the, in the, all this stuff. But here we have to be more generous over here and actually look for this. So here's one, the whale. Okay, they don't say a whale or whales or anything. They refer to one specific whale. The whale is referred to 155 times. So this whale is probably some important character in the thing. So it's not just the whale, it's the whale. There's one specific whale that's important. And we'll just look, what else do we find? The rest of it is all this kind of stuff. Now, this is nice. You can also do trigrams if you want. So into T. So if I say plus 3 into T3 and I say paste all three of them, you can get trigrams, like triples. This takes a while though. Yeah. So the sperm whale. So there we have something. The sperm whale. So it's not just a whale, it's the white whale, the sperm whale, of the sperm whale. Right? So it's a sperm whale. So it's a sperm whale specifically. Or perhaps a white whale. Okay. And so here. Also it says the Pequod was. The Pequod, meaning what? We said Pequod is a character in the thing, but if it's a person, you'll never refer to him as the Pequod. Right? So Pequod is probably something important. It's something else. It's not just a person. Okay. So we have a bunch of things like this. Now we can keep going like this. I'll give you one more example before we do this. I want all bigrams associated with Ahab. The word Ahab occurs 501 times in the book. All right, so I want to find out more about him. So I'm going to just grep for Ahab from mobydick.txt and put it in ahab.txt. All lines referring to Mr. Ahab. Okay, and I'm going to do this business of, I'm going to cat ahab.txt. I'm going to, translate every space into a new line. All this stuff which I did with the other thing. And I'm going to put this into T1. I'm going to also put the tail minus n plus 2 into T2. I'm going to paste T1 and T2 and I'm going to do the sort business, but only for Ahab related lines. Oh, sorry. Where is it? Grep minus I Ahab. Yeah. So this, and I'm going to paste these two together to see what I get. So you find something here. What do you find? Look at the last. Yeah, Captain Ahab. So he's not just, he is the captain. So it's, okay, so it's Captain Ahab. Okay, so there's more things you can do, but in the interest of time, I'll stop right now. So you have a bunch of things here. What do we have? We have 172 chapters, 595 pages, about sentence length is around 20. it's about the 1800s, these are the worlds related to this, etc. All these things we found out without reading the book, using just these 6 or 7 text manipulation programs that we have. I'm sure that the people who actually wrote these programs will not imagine that, somebody is going to analyze Moby Dick using all of this. It's just that, that freedom to do it is there. That's the advantage. All right. If this were a GUI, you would have book analyzer. You launch book analyzer and you load a book, it'll give you all sorts of statistics about it. Then you have a new idea, you have to send a pull request. Here it's not like that. It's just these pieces and you do what you want. So all this being said, statistically significant bigrams, trigrams. So proper nouns, as I said, we looked at, the peak word, the Captain Ahab, etc. And now you can go to Wikipedia and take a summary of the book. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So this is the summary of the book. So Moby Dick, or The Whale, okay, that's the name of the book. So The Whale is obviously important. It's written in 1851, which is cool. Okay, it's a novel by Herman Melville, in which the sole survivor of a whaling ship relates the tale of his captain's self-destructive obsession to hunt the white whale Moby Dick. It's specifically about the captain's obsession. Okay, that's why Captain Ahab figures so much in the book. The narrator, his bunkmate is Queequeg. He's a harpooner. Okay, Queequeg. In Nantucket, the pair's on signs with the Pequod, a whaling ship. So we know that the Pequod is a ship. We guessed something close. Okay, ship's captain Ahab, chief mate is Starbuck, second mate is Stubb, etc., and this thing. So all the red things are things which we figured out from our analysis. Okay, so it's not bad for just looking through text commands and things. And we did all this with just what we had just a bunch of. What did we do? We did it with just a few things. What we had cat, we had WC, we had grep, sort, unique, head, tail, awk, paste, and tr. So 8-10 commands. We got all this stuff out of it. Okay, we squeezed it out. Okay, so did you learn something? Did you understand something? Yes, no, or was it just really boring, or what was it? Okay, so here's the takeaways which I hope you get from this. So the command line has unique strengths, okay, which GUI programs don't have. That's not a diss on GUI programs. It's just that the two things are different. You have screwdrivers to put in screws, and you have hammers to put in nails. Okay. If your building blocks are good for in these kinds of things, then you can do lots of interesting stuff. And it's underappreciated and not sufficiently well known, which is kind of sad. I think back when I think Pradeep also, both of us and all, when we started getting into computers, GUIs were not sufficiently advanced. Either they were not there, or if they were there, they wouldn't work properly. Okay, so because of that, people they were familiar with the command line and they appreciated its strengths. So since people of these days don't really appreciate this or don't have knowledge of this, they're reinventing a lot of wheels, which is the bad thing. That's the main problem. So I encourage all of you to get familiar with this. It's worth it. Okay, so learn it well and take full advantage of it. Okay, I'll be here the whole day, so if you want to talk to me about this or anything else, you're more than welcome. So that's it. That's my keynote. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, thank you and have fun at the conference.